Welcome to another episode of Don't You Have Something Better to Do with Chris Donley. That's me, chrisdonleymusic.com, as well as lovelike.com, criticcity.com, all that good stuff. Yeah, check out all my music. Still currently getting all my releases up on my personal Bandcamp page and just seeing where this goes and have fun with it and talk with a bunch of friends that I haven't talked to and seen for a long time. So that's mostly the reason I'm doing this, just because I don't like to get out of the house very much anymore. We're repping one of my favorite bands, Jihad, also known as Pacifier in the United States. Love this band so much, and they just actually called it a day, which makes me very sad. But they did their final going away tour in New Zealand and Australia, and I did not get a chance to go see them. So kind of a bummer, but when I win the lottery, I will pay them to reform and do another show for me. But today we got a special guest, good old boy from the cover band days when I played with Pop Rocks, a Cleveland staple for 10 years or so. I don't know, till we called it a day when I had some health issues. So our competing bands that we didn't compete with at all, we had fun with. At least we did. And we always looked at it as a good thing. And we'd get them too, as much as we could. But they were always playing too. But today, Mr. Doug Schultz of Tricky Dick and the Coverups. Tricky Dick Cover Band at gmail.com or their link tree, Tricky Dick Cover Band. They're great and they work way harder than we ever did. And that's why they are still popular and around. Because we would just tend to get into trouble and have more fun than most of the other bands. We are known to be mouthy and silly, pretty much just. And without any further ado, Mr.
1 second.
All right, a little bit more further ado.
Oh, there we go.
Mr.
I had to turn
Doug.
on I have these Bose speakers I've had for like 10 years, but the only way to turn them on is if you have that little stupid remote. And they sound great, but then every time I do a video call, which I do like 20 a day, then I have to start out with
It happens when you're special and popular and represented by JBL. Yeah, take that, Bose.
Is that new to me? I can't even keep track.
I'm kidding. Anyway, Doug Schultz, my dude from way back. It's good to see you. Thanks for taking the time out with me, buddy.
Of
Even
course.
repping the around the corner shirt and the
Not that,
seat.
well, not that I have anything against around the corner because we play there and all that, but I just forgot what I was wearing.
I'm
Today's
just
been we had take two cars into the shop today, so I just been playing musical chairs with cars essentially.
very good. So I previewed a little bit, but why don't you give an intro yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself there, Douglas.
My name's Doug. I'm in Tricky Dick and the Coverups. We've been together about 17 years. I've been there for all of them. I play guitar, tad bass. I don't really like playing bass. And then I do some hums and ahs is for background vocals. And that's other than that, I just try not to break anything, you know?
There's a few of you guys still rocking it out, so I'm I'm just proud of you.
I appreciate it.
Even having the family and everything, you guys trimmed your schedule down and started doing like bigger, high profile gigs, but still once in a while do the club gigs, right?
Oh yeah, no, we still do a decent amount of club gigs, and and first off, I was done playing music when I moved to Cleveland, so if I didn't see Pop Rocks, I don't know that would anything would have kicked me in the butt. So just
My
seeing somebody playing how I wanted to play would like his reason, like we started Tricky Dick, so I was like, oh, I can do that. But not that I can't do that. I was like, okay, if somebody else can play heavy and still like have a lot of people come, because I don't know, I guess sort of people sort of thumb their nose at it. But then once you start actually getting some like real, solid riffs in there that aren't just like tinny, and you get a full sound, like people are like, okay, that complements these songs. And sometimes, as you guys have said, like it makes it sound better or tolerable even for some songs. So yeah, so it's probably a good thing, that my bandmates, if it was up to me, I'd probably play 4 or 5 nights a week, but that would not bode well with 2 kids under 6. And so it's sort of good that some of the other guys are, we're still playing, 5, 6 gigs a month, which is pretty good. But yeah, to take a little bit to actually, figure out how to do that with 1 kid, then with 2 kids, and now you sort of get it figured out after a while because there's no way I was going anywhere.
Originally from like Dayton area, correct?
Now we're north of Dayton in Fort Loramie,
North.
Ohio, a town of about 1,700 people. I graduated with 60, I think, something like that.
52 right here, brother.
Mm. It's Ashland, right?
Yeah. It
And
was,
so I didn't know that Ashland is about the same size. You guys probably have more visitors a day at Grandpa's Cheese Barn than your graduating class.
I have no idea. I would guess so because somehow everybody knows about Grandpa's Cheese Bar now, but this,
Oh, first off, where are you at? I just realized, is that a virtual background or where are you at?
no, it's my basement.
Oh,
It's my
very
fun
nice.
my fun studio slash basement. We just moved to Hinckley
Oh,
year and a half ago, so
well, that makes sense.
been trying to fix this place up and in the meantime just recording and writing a ton. So like how many bands did you play in like when you were in high school and
I
did you did
for
like
playing since I was 13 and I'm 42 now, not a lot. My first band was in high school. My parents were like, I told them I wanted to start a band because I failed out of all the sports, which it was, I never wanted to be anything in sports. But in a small town, it's hard to become like a musician. Few have, and there's some who are still very successful. And so I was like, wanted a guitar, and then they were always into music. We always played music. Then I started a band my freshman year called Broken Halo. Had some original songs that I wrote. I can't like cringe.
come
Just
on.
I found a mini disc the other day. It's got all the originals, and every time, and I even found an old mini disc player so I could rip them when I got home, and I still haven't done it. But trust me, I'll send them to you.
Do
And,
it, please.
yeah.
I
Oh,
want to
man.
hear it, brother. I mean, dude,
Oh,
I when we moved, I found I have a whole tub of like old cassettes from an old 4 track that I wrote in
yeah.
like 1,000 songs and then totally forgot that all these cassettes exist. So I might actually dig them out and try to make them into something decent. But
Well,
what was the first guitar that you got? Do you remember?
oh,
You still
I
have
can't
it?
remember the brand. It was I couldn't drive anywhere. I was so young. I was too young, and so like and every time we went to like Sydney, which was the closest place that would have any place to get a guitar, and so I remember talking. I would just talk about guitars in Cecily without even having one, and somebody said, "Hey, we have one in our attic." And here I got it out, and here it ended up being like one of my best friend's dad's guitar. It ended up in somebody's attic. So I played it. Action was terrible. There were those red and white switches that I have no idea what they did. I just needed the volume, and I knew that I only liked the neck pickup, whatever. And then I got it like somebody else in town, believe it or not, was selling a Fender amp, and I got that. And then my parents got me this Digitech thing. I still wouldn't even tell you how to use it because I only had just a little LED screen. Like now, my Tonemaster Pro, I can have every single thing on my chain, and then I finally I got a cheap Les Paul then, and I traded that in for um my parents lent me some money, like $1,300, and I got a '73 Les Paul Gold Top, which is my end all be all guitar. I just don't ever play it because it's super heavy and I'm old. And not only that, but if something happened to that guitar, probably any other guitar, I'd be bummed. I guess American Flag Strap would probably really bum me out, but the one thing that my parents actually lent me, $1,300 to get a real guitar, and then my first real amp was one of those tube. Oh man, the Valve State Marshall half stack.
That was your
So
first amp?
no, that was my first real amp. So
Okay.
that it was had that little Fender, and I couldn't even tell you the brand of it, but I remember one point the like it sounded weird. I looked back and like the speaker had fallen out of the came unscrewed.
That's still all right for a first. I think my first amp was a crate, like 110 little. I mean, it was this big, and I
I think
had
that's like a crate was a big go-to because I think a lot of the other musicians that I knew that was their first amp too. But I
really.
just I couldn't even get out of town to go anywhere. And like anytime we were, and like parents were like, if we go in there, we're gonna buy in this. But no, it worked out well. I was in that and through most of high school. Then I went to Wright State and Dayton. I didn't play anything. The only one thing I would do is play Thunderstruck to impress people in college, and and that's about it. And I would just play along to songs and Tool and stuff like that. And then I had an acoustic band for 2 years in Dayton with my brother and one of my friends in college and another friend. So we just had two guitars. And then our girl sang, Katie sang, and then my brother played one of those djembes or whatever you want to call it. And so we did that for 2 years, and then I moved here, and literally had that gap of from like that May till December when I joined when we joined started Tricky Dick. So it really wasn't that much of a break. And
Hmm.
then yeah, the
Did
biggest break was college. I was too drunk and unmotivated to like do soming. So once I got out of that, atmosphere, then I was like, what am I doing? I should have been playing. I should have been playing through college. I could have made some money,
yeah.
but
So how
it all,
many
all works out how it's supposed to.
so how many like originals did Broken Halo have? Like, did you guys were you mainly an original band?
No, no, no. We were playing 8, 6, 7, 5, 3, 9, but then like
Oh, okay.
there was like I also had I still don't have a filter for like what I think the crowd's gonna like. I only know what I like. So like I remember playing like Trust by Megadeth, right after Jenny. And and I would try to do things faster because I was, in the 90s of those punk bands were just doing covers, faster covers. So
Right.
I wanted to do a lot of those. And yeah, and then uh yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think about like that back then. That we played in bars. I was only 15. But we did play this bar called the Wagon Wheel in Burgettsville, and all these people would come like they didn't really check IDs and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just remember playing there, and some guy walked in. I see a fight, a scuffle, and then somebody runs out, and I'm like sitting right here, and here's the window that has the Budweiser sign in it, and somebody got pissed off because they wouldn't let him in or didn't want to pay the $5 cover to see our band. Threw a shovel, went straight past my head,
That's
and I
rock and
remember,
roll, baby.
oh man, it was that might be the most rock and roll that happened, and I burned myself out at 15.
That's awesome. What was like what was your top five bands like back then? Like what were you what like struck the lightning inside Doug Schultz to actually make him want to get a guitar and stuff?
Well, one we get me a guitar was always Nirvana. Especially I think I sort of like, hey, you could probably start out playing some of this stuff. And so yeah, Nirvana, but I really love ska, Real Big Fish, Less Than
Really?
Jake, all that kind of stuff. I love that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Um, they had that nice little heyday for like 3 or 4 years where that was actually cool. And always went to concerts. And first concert was Elton John, fourth grade, went all the way to then Live was a big one. Yeah, the Live and Bush and all those guys. But Live has always really struck a chord. But we always had those kind of albums around in our house, and even we're good Catholic family, we never were censored. Like it didn't matter what we were listening to. We always bought the uncensored version, and Mom wasn't a big fan. She just like close her eyes and do a sign of the cross or something. We were always allowed. I was listening to Slipknot. Like nobody ever said anything. And
I've
so, I mean, we weren't allowed to say in the house, but if you listen to it, it's okay. It's a weird thing.
I've recently learned that I didn't really grow up a lot around a lot of like Catholic people, but I've played a couple of events for Catholic schools and stuff, and
Yeah,
it's a party, man. I never
yeah,
knew that it was just
yeah.
party. That's opening my eyes a little bit, so that's pretty cool. What
Oh
what
yeah.
what would you say are your top five bands of all time?
Oh
Off
gosh,
the top of your head.
man. It's one of the okay. Well, I mean, I think I re-realized one the other day. I mean, I just went and saw Deftones on Saturday, and I would say Deftones definitely top five.
Well, I
Uh,
see you still have your wristband on. Was that from Disturbed last night?
oh, I forget which ones these are from. One, yeah, this is probably from Disturbed, and then this probably is from that. I forget. Oh no, one I know, ironically, one is from Disturbed and one is from Kosai because we took our kids. I took my kids, went to Deftones, and the next day woke up and took kids to Kosai.
Always learning, baby. Good dad.
Exactly.
All right, so Deftones
Yeah,
is
and
one.
then oh gosh, I mean probably like Killswitch Engage. I'm trying
Really?
to think of like who I've seen the most of, but it's like it's one of those things I constantly am think about my top five, and then the second someone asks me, It's
Yeah.
like, when you realize like what you want to have for dinner, and then when it's actually time to order, you forget what it was. And yeah, Deftones, like anything really heavy. I mean, but I'm kind of all over the place. I mean, I've always Metallica. I hate to say like the same things, but I mean, Deftones have always been awesome. I love like the screamy choruses and the sing-songy or like the screaming verses, and then it breaks out into the giant open, singing chorus. Like Killswitch Engage has always been one of
Right.
my go-tos for that.
Are you a
Um,
Howard or a Jesse kill switch
oh,
guy?
Howard, 100%.
Really?
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Jesse, I got into, well, it might have been different. If I would have got into them, during the first two albums instead of End of All Heartache, then I could have been a Jesse guy and then hated Howard. But it's something I just love Howard's delivery and it sounds more tight and together. I don't think Jesse has ever gotten that like classic or like taken lessons how to do it correctly, maybe. It's just a preference, but I still, doesn't change that. I still go see him and Adam D is one of my absolute favorite guitar players. That's probably where when we first started was probably my spirit animal to just screw around as much as possible to play
Hell
stuff
yeah.
handed just to put on a show. And we always joked before we were any good that people hear with their eyes. That's why we got a light show.
Did you ever wear a cape like Adam or
No, but I would wear dumb stuff. At the beginning, there was times where I had this thing for a while. I go through stages where I beat the shit out of something and then I don't do it again. But for a while there, and this is before we decided we were really taking ourselves seriously, that I was gonna, do it part-time, full-time, whatever. And I would take off my shorts, I'd wear boxers and then a dress shirt. And just to be ironic, I guess. And it was stupid. I can't believe that. I feel like if I did that now, I might get in trouble, but like it was, I was a big guy back then too, so I probably looked extra stupid. But it was just, yeah, I always had stuff like that. Then you remember I went through that white hat phase where all I wore is white blanks because there's this
yeah.
like sporting good place down the street from when I lived downtown, and I would wear them till they fall apart, and then finally they're going out of business, so I bought like 10 of them. And then I don't know where you guys found them for my 30th birthday, but
I don't know, man. There's pictures floating around somewhere.
oh yeah,
All that,
I
all
had
the.
some rude things written on those.
It wasn't me, man. It wasn't me.
By the way, I'm in my shed, but I just realized it looks like I'm in the middle of the woods. Uh,
I don't know. It kind of looks like you're at the beach to me, but
oh no, I hate the beach.
your video just kind of locked up or something.
It what locked up? Oh, I don't know. I tried to screw with it, but yeah, this is well, you can't see it, so it doesn't even make a difference. But I have a shed in my backyard that I do all my real estate stuff, and then I also
You're not in that office on Madison anymore?
are we having an issue?
It's just got the your screen froze up, so it's just like
Oh,
a
hey,
picture
if
of
it's
you.
gonna freeze up, at least it looks
You got your mouth open, and
I mean, that's pretty much that's just me 24/7.
here I'll send that's what we're looking at right now. But it's all good. I don't care. Honestly, this, like I said, this is just like more of a selfish thing for me to chat with some musicians and friends I hadn't talked to for a long time, and
Yeah, no, it's
honestly
always
just kind of
good.
check in and say, hey, you know what I mean?
Right. Now,
There
all
we
right.
go. Something
That's
happened.
that's old. That's like my first Gmail profile. But let's see.
There
Welcome
we
to real life
go.
again.
There we go.
No, it's good. I mean, obviously, we used to, well, I think all of us, in that era of time, would hang out a lot more. So everybody it was almost like tiered. One of us would be done with one show, so then we'd all go and support each other when we're done with those shows. And I almost said cherish those days. That would a good thing, but it was an awesome time. And obviously,
You
that
could
couldn't
say
last forever because we'd
cherish.
all be dead
Oh,
if
we'd be dead.
that timeline never ended.
Oh,
Because
me.
back then, that's all I wanted. And then if I was like, man, I would die. I can't stay up till 4 a.m. Multiple nights in a row.
Well, that's the wild thing too, though. Like after COVID, did you kind of appreciate that everything changed? Because like the very first show back, after I, quit Pop Rocks, we're pulling out at 10:30, and that's what time we'd normally be starting the show.
Yeah,
I was like, whoa,
yeah,
because most of those Fridays, you're up 24 hours.
yeah. I mean, I
It,
work. I've been real estate agent, and I do closings for real estate and stuff like that. And so yeah, Fridays are very long,
Mhm.
and all of our shows were at least till 2, sometimes 2:30 before COVID. COVID, I hated it. I was so mad because all I wanted to do was be out. But COVID was actually a good thing as far as it is nice not being done till 2. There are gigs that were done at each time. Yeah. And so we had so that COVID was good is that I learned how to stay home, that I don't need to go out. And now honestly to the point now, unless I'm going to a concert or if somebody asks me to do something if I have the night off, other than that, I'm fine with just making a stiff drink and playing with my Legos, working on my guitars, watching music documentaries, stuff like that.
I'm with
Um,
you.
but still as many concerts as I can humanly go to.
I think
Obviously.
I think part of maturing and getting older is just learning to become, you know, a lone alcoholic at night, by yourself because it's like I used to want to go see everybody and see everything.
Yeah.
Now it's like I don't want to leave the house most of the time.
Yeah, at least I'm not egged on to, start ripping shots of fireball and stuff like that. At least
Anything.
at home, I'll just like go have light beer, which is fine with me. I'm a quantity over quality guy anyway.
Give it a couple of years, man. Your kids will be ornery, I guarantee it.
Oh yeah, that is 100% right.
So would you say that like Cobain was like your main influence to pick up a guitar then for the most part?
Yeah, it was just I mean, it Smells Like Teen Spirit opened a lot of doors, and because I was at the time I really did not like anything 80s.
Locking up.
And but I mean, I like I said live, and then that was my first actual rock concert.
Go back, Doug. It
I'm
it 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 locked up again right when you said you didn't really like anything from the 80s.
Oh, no, I was saying, yeah, like Nirvana was definitely it. And then you know what was a big, I didn't realize until 2018 was I didn't realize how much of Zach Wild was a huge inspiration to me too. Because I
Really?
had a buddy that got me into Ozzy. And I can't say I love every single Ozzy song, but I mean, I love anything that they do. So I was able to go be third row. Right when my daughter was due to be born, my wife's like, well, you're gonna have to drive there and not drink for this show because I could be having her that night. She came 2 weeks early because she loves me. So I got to go to that show and seeing Zach Wild with Ozzy. That was for seeing both of them together for the first time. Especially that was the last tour that he was still fully functioning. Ever
Hmm.
since I think he got what he get. Um, I forget what he got.
Did you
Um,
get into the Black Label Society a lot too, or
yeah, I did. It doesn't do the same for me, which is funny because I like all the Zach Wild Ozzy stuff the same. Or like I like that's my favorite kind of Ozzy stuff. So it's funny to think back that now when I listen to there's like 4 or 5 songs that I like, but overall the stuff he wrote for Ozzy is better, even though it's the same. All he's doing. That's why he got rid of him for a while there because he's like, oh, my stuff is starting to sound like Black Label Society. And so I don't know how a band does. And I don't know how you do it either. Writing songs. But you're trying to differentiate. That's why I'm glad I'm not an original band. I couldn't handle the pressure of that. Because
no
I would be able to,
pressure?
like, I'm gonna write what I'm gonna write, and whoever's gonna play with me today is what we're gonna do.
That's
That's
the attitude you got to have writing originals, man. You write for yourself and don't give a what anybody thinks. I mean, honestly, I'll never recoup. I've never been in the black with any album I've ever released, but
yeah,
I'm still a somewhat sadomasochist and want to put myself through this pain
yeah,
because I love music and it makes me happy and I
yeah.
like to talk to people that music makes them happy and everything too. So
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a big thing. Is I have friends that are music fans, but I mean, nobody understands music more than people who play it. So it gets. I mean, and we've spent hours and hours talking about guitar tones and stuff like that. I never thought I'd become such like a tone nerd, and now
dude,
I
how
wish I
many
would have
amps have you gone through? That's the thing. You've literally gone from it seemed like every 8 months for a while there you were trying a different setup or rig or something.
Well, I started, yeah. I mean, I had that Marshall, and then that died. And then I said I was going to go digital. So, but then I got one of those B52s. I've had 3 different Mesobucky rectifiers.
That
Uh,
B52, like it made every single song you played sound like Rock Lobster. I'm just sorry. That was
oh,
stupid.
that's good.
No,
That's
that
good.
was I'm sorry.
No, that's absolutely fantastic. I like that. It was, I mean, do you remember those amps? It
I
was like a
don't.
knockoff of Mesa Boogie, essentially,
Mm-mm.
of the triple rack. And you could get a used one for like a few $100 and then I actually played through my first rectifier and I was like, oh God, I have to have this. And then I'm like, I'm sick of carrying it around. So then I'd get a digital. So I went to like the Boss GT10 and then I got sick of that. And then I went back, I went back and forth. One of the
Remember you
last
had you had a Hughes and Kettner for a minute. You had
yeah, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, and I sold that and I bought another one later.
Did you?
And then I had the Helix. Once I hit the Helix I was good for a long time. And then I did take a quick a break. And I bought a EV, but it was almost as tall as me, and it was extremely top heavy. So every time we bring it down the ramp of the trailer, some of it. And then I realized, what am I going to do at Roundhouse? Nobody could carry this thing. Nobody would be able to like lift it up into the thing. So I went back to Helix again. And now I'm using a Tone Master Pro, but even between there, I've done, Tone X. I've tried everything. I'm never going to be happy. I'll never be happy. I'm
Well,
looking for
I
something.
I still have the boogie I bought from you.
Yeah, that was I do kind of regret, but then I'm like, what do I do? Keep carrying it around and then keep putting it back in my garage because it's
Well, that was I had two for a while there. Remember, all our gear got stolen,
yeah. Yeah, I
and
remember that you were well, how much of that stuff did you guys get back?
we got everything except for me and Steve.
Yeah.
I lost two Rex. I lost a Galleon Kruger base head, probably like 5,000 in cables,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dude,
and
so much money in cables.
Steve lost his 5150. But we got everything else back, like luckily.
That's pretty good.
But he's still convinced that our amps are at the bottom of Lake Erie. But I don't know. I still look on, you know, selling sites every once in a while because my one had specific markings that I put on it. You know what I mean? And the other one had like just cigarette burns all over the top of it from back in the day. So, you know, I don't know. Doug Schultz, lead guitar player, cornerstone of Tricky Dick and the Coverups, and just purveyor of fun and silliness, goodness.
That is
Doug,
100%.
that's you, brother.
I try.
I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, I think I definitely am the one who's probably recognized the most because like I just have a face that does it. That
I don't know if it's that. You were always the most outgoing of the band. We locked up
easy
again.
to remember.
We
And then it's a
locked we
giant.
locked we locked up again. Damn it.
What do you got? Dial up over there?
And it's a Commodore 64. So
I'm glad. I'm just impressed we have color then.
but yeah, I mean, I think you were just the most outgoing. I mean,
I try. Yeah, I try. I like to. I mean, part of being out there, part of anything I do is because I like being around people. Even when I worked in IT, I hated it, but I loved that I could help people and that I could talk to people every day. So once we quit going out to offices and we started we could do everything remote, that's when I started to hate it.
yeah.
So yeah, it's fun being outgoing, and I like meeting people, and it's always great to hear people had fun and get to meet so many people. Yeah, like endless amounts of friends, and you learn things from your musician friends. It's fantastic.
What have you learned from your musician friends?
I don't know, probably at some point that there's a point where you do need some decent gear.
I'm
I
with you.
mean, I mean, I was always impressed. I mean, I had my sparkly blue Epiphone Les Paul and I found one online that was red, and the only reason I bought the blue one is just so you didn't think I was copying off you.
If you ever sell that, I'm buying it from you.
You
I
can have
can't.
every color.
No, I only have the gold sparkly one, but
I
I've
think you had
always
a pink one.
no. There's a red, like a red sunburst. What
That's probably it.
I always wanted the blue sparkle. So if you're ever selling that or you see one, send it my way. Because
I can do that. Yeah,
for
that was
real,
eBay. I think I paid $400, and then
really,
all I did is buy the legit T98 or whatever, standard humbucker and replace those because I didn't like the cheap ones.
Mhm.
But that guitar was a staple for a long time. So I got that American flag guitar. That was the only reason I quit playing that,
How
and
many you
that was
got?
a lot lighter.
How many guitars you got nowadays?
Oh, it's got to be pushing 30.
Is it
Oh yeah, yeah, it's
really?
bad. Yeah. And then I'm like, I keep telling myself I'm gonna like thin down because there's really no reason to have this many. But there's some I'll buy and I'm just like, why did I do that? But
Look at
yeah,
it this way: it's an investment if the kids need money for college, right, or something like
yeah.
that. That's
Well,
that's
if I
why I'm
quit
keeping
screwing,
it.
if I would keep everything the way it came, but I keep screwing with it, I'm like, I don't like this, so I put that in. So I'll buy a custom. Oh God, what did I buy? Stupid. This is a Matt Heafy. Oh man, and it's Heafy and heavy. And I ripped out, like, I took out the switch. I move it how I like it, And then I put on these. So now it more looks like a Joker guitar. It's just got these green and purple tuners. And then I don't know if I was embarrassed at one point and I put the thing so nobody'd know it was an Epiphone.
Whatever.
I don't
Dude,
know why I did it.
mine's an Epiphone. I mean,
I know.
I prefer Epiphones. They're a couple pounds
Honestly, I've had
lighter
more
and
luck, more better luck.
more better luck.
Yeah, I've had better luck with the Epiphones. Yeah, the Gibsons. I bought a few Gibsons at Guitar Center and ended up returning them because they were garbage.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, in Epiphone, who knows? Maybe they're the exact same. It's just like all TVs are made from three different places, and all they do is just slap a different sticker on it.
Yeah. All right, Doug, what if you could join one band, who would it be?
Hmm. You know what? And I'd have to think about like my skill set. Because like if I was they say jump in and be like, oh, kill switch.
You're thinking too deep. Just
I
it'd be
know.
kill
This is
switch.
what I do.
It'd be
But I guess maybe because I just saw him on Saturday and it had been so long, and I feel like the riffs are intricate enough that they're fun to play, but it's also you could still lose your price. It has to be Deftones, I guess.
do you have a 7 or an 8 string? Since it seems like
I've had one.
Steph keeps
And
going deeper and deeper.
I had. Oh yeah, by the way, I shaved my head.
Awesome.
Yeah, the troops were proceeding. And that wasn't fun. And so wait, what was he saying? I have the worst ADD.
Talking about the 7, 8 string.
Oh yeah, so I bought a 7 string, and I thought for a while there, even Tony and like we're like, oh, just play everything in 7 string. I couldn't wrap my head. I couldn't wrap my head around that
Really?
extra string. And like if you gave me a 4 string bass to play, because all I've ever played is 5, I wouldn't be able to wrap my head around. Like I just need to spend more time on it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I wish I would have had this much thirst for knowledge of like guitars and true tone and because usually I was set it forget it for years until I got a new rig.
Did you take lessons?
I took lessons at yeah, I tried the book, then I did in-person lessons, and then finally the guy's like pretty much he was trying to shove theory down my throat, and all I was like, hey man, can you help me play Harvey Danger? So pretty much from there on, every lesson has been because I had to learn
A song.
hundreds and hundreds of songs. And so every song I learn, even I don't care how simple it is, I feel like I learned something from it. So whenever we learn a song and it flops, it's usually because I'm the one who suggested it. At least I don't ever look at it as a waste of time. I'm like, hey, I learned something from it. So that I used to get so scared, but now I'm like, I like putting the time in to get things right and stuff. But even when I'm right, there's still more right from the other people in my band.
How many like tunes are you guys learning a year still?
Oh man, we used to be on like a 3 to 6 a week, and I bet maybe 2 to 4 now. Because at the heyday,
Still a lot.
10 years ago, we were doing still Tuesday and Thursday practices. So we were like, it was almost like Tuesday was a table read, and we sort of work on it, and then you had to clean it up, and then Thursday we'd do you call the dress rehearsal, whatever, and then we bring it out for the weekend. So. Yeah, now it's not as many, but we try. I mean, we still try for as much as we play. I think we still keep enough going. But then we'll get into ruts where I have a family, or people have stuff, kids are sick, whatever. So we still try to practice every single week unless somebody needs off for something specific.
Crazy. That's awesome. Very, very dedicated. I mean, we got to the point, like, I think the last year we were playing, I think we practiced 3 times that year. but we learned like 50 songs, I would just send them what songs and what key I wanted to do them in, and everybody did their homework, and we practiced like 2-3 times, and we usually
we realized quick that we're a band that has to practice. We just I don't know what it is. It's probably because I'm the lowest on the totem pole as far as like talent goes. So maybe
No, you're not.
we need to.
What's a song you wish you would have written? Like, what's your go-to, your favorite, the end all be all?
Man, you're asking hard questions for somebody who overanalyzes every single thing they say. Gosh, there's got to be like different. But you know what? Screw it. I'll say this APT. What's it? Bruno Mars and Rose or whatever. Dude, that song's incredible, and it's so simple and it's so catchy. I can't stop listening to it. Listen to it.
I don't know that one. I'm not hip to the jive. How recent is that? Pretty new.
It's fairly recent. I think it was like bigger in Japan last year, but then we just started playing it recently. And you'll hear, yeah, just like it's just called APT. And but it's fun. And some of these songs, we learned I'm like this song sucks, but then it's sometimes you'll enjoy them just because other people are dancing to them, and
Right.
then sometimes you appreciate the song by learning it. It's weird.
I'm with you. I mean, there's plenty of songs that I brought to the guys back in the day where they'd just be like, "Yo, this is gonna be stupid," and most of the time it was. But those rare times when it was like, "Oh, that did work." So, what would you say is
Yeah.
your what's your worst vice, Doug?
Oh, God, biting my fingernails. I would say
A guitar player that bites his fingernails.
smoking, but I haven't smoked in 3 years. Uh-oh, what happened?
It just locked up again. I'm sorry. It would be smoking, but you haven't smoked in 3 years.
I haven't smoked in 3 years, and then biting my fingernails 100% is probably my biggest one. And then, getting 99.9% through a project and then not doing the last 1%. That's always, at least according to my wife, that's a pretty good one. Yeah.
What would you say? What's like been your best memory playing music out and like, or like some good ones, some good stories that people probably wouldn't believe?
There were some pretty, I mean, just little things like we were able to play on the East Coast, and I remember the first time playing this place called Bottle and Cork, and it's on the beach in Dewey
The
Beach,
Dewey
Delaware.
Beach. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 2,000 people or something like that. So I mean, this little club or whatever, like on the East Coast, everything is so much bigger, and like playing in front of these PA systems were just like, anytime you play like House of Blues, which I know you've done before, like it's like when you're on a you can legit feel the rumble on your toes. It's
Mhm.
it's always a lot of fun. We opened up for Third Eye Blind one time. It was a corporate event. They didn't ask for us, trust me. But I do remember this
You
what
played
that
only Third Eye Blind songs. That just
Oh
to
no,
piss them
they
off.
actually told us. I don't think we had to sign something, but we were told not to play any Three Drive Light song. They said they thought it'd be fun to hear us play it, and then they play it, and we thought we'd meet them too. But I remember like we get done, and I'm like taking swigging my beer, and I thought they'd be there in a few minutes. Literally, their whole team, and I don't know why they need a team anymore. But anyway, like you got to get your stuff off. You got to get your stuff off. And I was like, oh man, we'll probably get to say hi to them. They literally 30 seconds before they went on, they pulled up in a black van, had their in-ear monitors already. They literally walked on, grabbed the sticks, grabbed guitars, and started. I was like, oh, we'll talk to him afterwards. Afterwards, get all the way pushed back. Everybody, it's exact reverse. And I'm like, and I've never heard any, really good, nice stories about that lead singer. I won't even say his name, but I do remember chipping my tooth right before I went on stage, and that sucked.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I was chewing gum, and I was like, why is this gum so crunchy? And I put my tongue back, and I was like, oh God.
Was it already chipped and like capped or
Well,
something?
I think it was cracked and I didn't know. And then but then it didn't hurt, and so I didn't worry about it. But then last year I had to go to a Mexican dentist because I was in Mexico when it finally got
Oh
down to the
wow.
nerve. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Um,
Was it really?
yeah, we don't go on a whole lot of vacations just because of my schedule. And my wife's like, I was bawling. She's like, "Are you okay? Are you that hungover?" I was like, "No, my tooth, whatever." She went out to the pool, and I knew she would stop me, so I went out and I called a cab. And this place, like where we're at in Cancun, like they have like 10 guys with military guns, like so people can't get in. And so I took it, and I went into the heart of Cancun to this ghetto place, and they drilled my nerve out right there.
Wow.
And they were like, "We can take it out, but you're gonna hate the rest of your vacation. At least you won't be able to feel it." And
Right.
so, went back, and it was always funny because everything I had to eat couldn't be thicker than like two credit cards because I couldn't even open my mouth because
Oh
it was
my
so
God.
infected. It was terrible. A good oral hygiene lesson. Yeah. Well, all's well that ends well. I mean, it's not like I never brushed my teeth, but now I take it a lot more seriously than I did. But it's funny how it transcends from third eye blind to Mexican dentists. Oh no, the worst is when it's like I start looking at something, all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, check out this new Jackson, blah blah," and then I start watching. I'm like, "Oh, my guitar doesn't do that." If I just literally just sat there and got out whatever guitar I had close to me, I'm sure it would sound exact same, but it wouldn't look as cool.
Yeah.
Uh,
What are some tunes you want to bring to the guys that they don't know about yet? Are there
uh,
any?
oh, well, I brought that. They're gonna be crying. They're gonna be so.
I'm
Oh
sorry, it
man,
locked up again, Doug. It locked up again. What was it?
that's all right. Times Like These by Foo Fighters. I was like, this is gonna sell, and they're like, I don't think so. And I was like, guys, you wait, people are gonna be in tears. Like, it's such a happy song. And then we played it, and we gave it. They said they give me 3 shots, and people were either picking their nose or going to get beers, and they just, it was, they couldn't even get mad. It was so deflating that we still bring it up now. Like, that if I bring something that isn't gonna be like, oh, here's another Times Like These.
What's a like one that's always in the set list that you dread or that
Oh,
you
probably
just
my
kind of
own
like?
worst enemy. I'm just so sick of that. And I really, it's kind of lose respect for the human public, that they still want to hear that.
How did that become like? I don't remember it being that big of a hit when it came out. It
It
seems like they.
was like but I grew up in Fort Laramie, Ohio, so there was, it was either country, nobody really, it was country, whatever the pop stuff was, and then, actually some of that rap stuff was actually pretty good too. And then you had that like watered down rock, like, Third Eye Blind and that kind of stuff. And honestly, that I wish, what I wish I would have gotten bigger than my own were sending me was Miserable. I always thought that song was really good. And that song was, in my opinion, was way catchier, way more well written. I love whatever that chord was during the verses
Yeah, the
that just
weirdest
grinded but
chorus.
still sounded good. I don't think I've ever learned that chord, but I always thought that was really cool. There was
Wasn't that
so
the
much,
Pamela? Wasn't Pamela Anderson in that video?
yeah, and she like picks them on like jostling her mouth.
Yeah,
And that's one thing I've never. I'll hear a song on the radio that's like a first single, but usually that first single that gets me into a band usually ends up being my least favorite song on an
really.
album. I always like the other stuff. I don't know why. I think some songs are a little too sparkly and jangly, and it's like, all right, we need something a little more complicated because I feel like we're definitely dumbing people down. Um, you know, which really bumps me out because then it doesn't give us a chance to really play it because people are like, oh, this isn't simple enough that I can just get drunk to and shake my ass.
Yeah.
But those are fun to play too. So it takes hard to find. It's hard to
Is there?
no, but every time we have a leg in the internet, you know what it's like? It's like watching the very tail end of every scene in roadshow, antique roadshow, because it's always awkward. Like they don't stop filming, and people are just like sitting there while they're showing how much they thought it was going to be and how much it went for, and they're just like sitting there waiting for it to be done.
I have not seen
I know
Antiques
this is the kind of
Roadshow.
weird. You would have to go back and I know I get stuck into that show too. It's so good.
American
I just never.
Pickers, all that good stuff.
American Pickers. That was just okay, but a bummer that little short dude died.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, and I found out that they hated each other.
I did not know that either. See,
Yeah,
this is another reason I do this, just to learn.
yeah,
It,
yeah. If only I knew more things that could make me money. This is knowing more about American Pickers hasn't given me a cent.
uh, yeah, is there any like new bands or singers or anybody that you discovered in the last like 5 years that just you wish everybody or you would they deserve to be known off the top of your head?
Oh, let's see. There's it's just it's so much music that I'm constantly listening to. There was I'm actually I pulled up my starred playlist because that has all my stuff, and
What are you on? Spotify, Apple Music?
yeah, on Spotify, and I have there's like so I just have this constant running thing where I can add it on a star a song when I hear it, and this DJO I just started listening to a few weeks ago. That really really good. Um,
Oh, it's Joe Carey from Stranger Things.
oh, that's who that
That's him.
is.
Yes,
I
it's
think
Steve
I didn't know
Harrington.
that. Yeah,
Yep.
that is really good.
I dig it too, actually. It's kind of got this 80s fun feel to it. But um, I just found Vecna, that guy, in
Okay.
season 4. His stuff is pretty awesome too. Like it's from what I've heard, few songs. It's pretty wild. There's like four of them that have albums out. Because Finn's a guitar player, and it's one of our favorite shows. So Stranger Things is always in the queue, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I tried it. It just didn't do it for me. Too much. There was a Bibio was another one I've been listening to that I really liked. Um, Man, a lot of this stuff I've been like finding old things
I am
uh,
too, dude. Isn't that
like
crazy?
yeah, like went back and like this Havana 3 a.m. had one hit wonder in the 80s called Reach the Rock. So I like that one. And then also like there's like a weird Mars. I never liked Mars Volta, but I just found this old song that I liked. Me and my singer Tony, we spent a lot of time riding shotgun together, and so we always end up alternating playlists and get a lot of stuff from each other. And sometimes it's stuff that's like weird French stuff, and then sometimes it's just something with fart humor. I mean, it could be anything. I
I'm with
mean,
you.
yeah.
I same here. Like that's always been like, you run the playlist this time on this road trip or whatever. But
Yeah, and sometimes I get sick of like listening to music when I'm driving, and I listen to podcasts about music. Like love Rick Beato. I mean, just absolutely love Rick Beato. I
I
mean,
do
those are
too.
so good, and you could tell like there's no way that guy when the camera goes off that he's an asshole. Like, he seems like the most genuine dude. He's always genuinely starstruck by like everybody he has on.
And he
And
just loves music too. I mean, you can
yeah,
tell the dude just loves, and he knows.
way too much.
It's amazing. Like here's a G chord. That's what I know. He'll be able to hear it and be like, "That's a G minor diminished seven."
Yeah.
Blah
Oh,
blah. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm glad he's doing well. He's pretty awesome. He's one of the few I still watch and regularly tune into. But
oh yeah, dude. I Google so like some of this I can't do the theatrics. Like I'm like even Mr. Brightside. It's like you would think I
no,
had a claw. Like I have
I,
to bring my fingers together. Like it's like trying to put small but chubby fingers.
yeah.
That's the worst combination.
Oh, Doug, thank you for spending your time with me today, pal. Last question, and
Yes.
I'll let you go. If you could hang out with anybody in history, who would it be?
And so not even a musician.
Whoever you want it to be.
It's got to be a musician. Um. Oh, you know what? I would say Ozzy, but I'm not sure that we get through a lot. It'd be a lot of stuff. And that's not just him that'd be stumbling through his words. It'd be me too.
Well, that's
Uh,
so you're saying back in the day when party
yeah.
with Snort Some Ants with Ozzy.
Or even talk to him now, but maybe Zach Loud, he seems cool. Like I wouldn't ever want to hang out with somebody that I like the people that don't feel like I'd be like intimidated by. Like 'cause sometimes when I run into, famous people, I'm just sort of like I'm like the Chris Farley show. I remember like, remember
River.
the Beatles?
That was awesome.
Yeah. It's all right, Chris. You're doing just fine.
Yes. Well, Doug, I appreciate you, brother. I'm
I love
glad
you, buddy. Thank you for
glad
having
you're
me on.
still
I enjoyed
doing
it.
awesome. I'm glad everybody check out trickydickcoverband.com, right?
Yes.
And if you want to book them for your event or know some cool place that they should play, it's trickydickcoverband at Gmail, right?
Or if you want to buy a house.
Or if you want to buy a house,
Yeah,
Doug,
buy a
Doug,
house.
Doug keeps it real. I don't know if
Yeah.
everybody
Doug at
knows that.
keepmerealestate.us. Well, yeah, that's not near as interesting. There's a million real estate agents.
It's all
Um,
right. I'll still put everything in the bio, brother.
I appreciate
I
it.
literally, if it gets one person out to one of your shows or something, then it's cool with me. But honestly, that's just my selfish way of chatting with some friends I haven't
I
seen.
love it. And I'll do a part two. I always got plenty. I can't believe I constantly got bullshit in my head. All I need is somebody to give me topics.
Well, next time I'm hoping sometime soon. Yeah, have like actual sit downs and
That's what I was gonna say. Oh man, I mean, this is good. But man, I got plenty more to say when I'm drinking. If I have this much like dead sober with a monster, give me some Red Bull and vodkas, and we'll see what happens.
That's right. Well, thank you, Doug. I appreciate it, brother. I wish you
Yep.
nothing but the
Everybody, I'll see
best.
you soon.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you.
Bye.